I was said to be born when salt was scarce in the world. I don't know exactly when. However, when I look back at my early years, I can vividly remember only the moment when I first became aware of my existence as a human being. It happened when I was just 3 years old, and before that time, I had no concept of who I was or if I even existed. The first person I recognized was my mother, then 2 other siblings. Among many people in our clustered compound, a bearded man stood out as the closest to us as a family. He will take time to play with all of us and constantly bring gifts to us. I don't know how we feed, and I'm not aware of money and what it can do. I never see exchange of money among people. I only know when mothers go out, she comes back with many things including vegetables, pepper, fruits, and so on. Although the man I described never slept in our hamlet, he was part of our extended family, and I have fond memories of him showering us with love and regularly giving us money. As I grew older, I came to understand that this kind and bearded man was, in fact, my father. Discovering this truth brought me immense joy and pride. To me, father means our chief security officer, because I observed he was always there to defend us. I almost erroneously think he was assigned to carry out that role by whom I don't know. However, despite the love and support from my family, my early life was marked by fear. I seemed to draw quick lessons from any scary situation I encountered, and as a result, I started avoiding situations that exposed me to people and objects. In search of a safe haven, I eventually moved to live with my grandmother, who was a loving and brave in my perception because she was bigger than my mother. Growing up in a semi-village, I was fortunate to experience a life not commonly seen in many towns during that time. Unlike most places that lacked electricity and pipe-borne water, our village was electrified thanks to the efforts of the regional government. It was truly remarkable to live in a community with an abundance of electricity and water back then. Alternative would have been stream water, which usually is always kilometers away. Because of frequent fear, I wouldn't know how I would have survived that stress.
One particular memory from my childhood stands out vividly. There was an isolated compound nearby, which I always viewed with a mixture of fear and curiosity. In my imagination, I believed dangerous characters lurked around the area. One day, my fear peaked when I witnessed my old uncle running frantically from their backyard, carrying a cutlass and what looked like a long rope. I had no idea what was happening, and the tension in the air only added to my anxiety. Later, I learned that he had encountered a snake, an experience that left me with a lasting fear of these creatures. Moreover, I vaguely remember a supposed 2 brothers with whom I witnessed them embroiled in a heated argument that resulted in violence where they threatened to attack each other with knives. Witnessing these altercations left me with a deep sense of concern for their safety, and I became wary of being alone in such circumstances. My brain told me that I could be attacked, so I completely avoided their compound even up till now. Regrettably, these fearful experiences significantly impacted my nightly routine. Nightfall became a source of anxiety, and memories of past events disturbed my ability to sleep peacefully. Although it was customary to share a room with family members, I dreaded sleeping alone and could not recall ever doing so. One day, my family unintentionally left me inside my mom's room, and during my deep slumber, I was jolted awake by loud voices in every part of the enclaves. Trembling with fear, I realized the noise was merely from the government tap installed at the front of our house, about 12 meters away. The relief flooded over me, and I found comfort in the nearby village square where a kind and averagely rich man always played the radio in the open to entertain us. As I said above, my sleeping time was always a bad time for me because I dreamt from the day I realized myself as an object till adulthood. There was no night I will not dream. Sometimes I'll dream that all our house has been removed and we are all sleeping outside in the open. Sometimes I'll dream of very heavy rain and thunderstorm and get scared when sleeping that the thunder will not consume us. One day when it was about to rain, I looked up and I was able to see big and circular dark patches in the sky. I was terrified to my spine, but surprisingly I was later made to know were clouds and that it normally precedes every rainfall. I ran inside and started thinking it will be a matter of time before cloud will fall on all of us and we will perish. I wonder why others were not thinking like me. I don't know where these things were coming from. Talk about sleeping further. I remember a day I saw a cat in the dark while I was sleeping. I know cats before, although we don't have any in my compound, but they have it in one of the compounds around, but I have never been in close contact with it, so sleeping it was weird. It looks at me with green eyes in the dark. I could not shout, I could not move, I was still till daybreak and I had to bed wet because of fear. The second day it was worse when I saw a cat running after a rat. I now know why it came to our compound, while I briefly woke to go and urinate. I summoned courage and shouted, the whole house woke up and asked what the problem was. I told them about the cat that visits every night and its fight with cat while circling me on my bed. Nobody believed me of the circling story. This made my mother seriously worried and I had to be taken to her mother's place, my grandmother, with the help of my father, thinking I will be fine. There was also unmentioned thought that it could be because of evil spirit. I don't know what evil spirit was, and I never bothered to worry. The day I got to Granny house was very joyful for me. She entertained me seriously with foods and drinks and I got relaxed, thinking I will probably be living with her. Alas, the celebration did not last because the same day at night, there was rain, very heavy rain. Unfortunately, this is a house not well roofed and the little iron sheet had rusted. This then permitted sound of rain to be amplified, and despite having nice sleep, the story of rat and cat repeated itself. I demanded to go back home despite persuasion from my grandmother. This was how I began to go back and forth without any concrete solution to this fear problem. As I reflect on my journey from that semi-village to where I stand today, I am grateful for the contrast between my early fears and the present reality. Over time, I have learned to overcome those childhood frights and embrace the beauty of life, even in the most remote corners of our world. These early experiences have shaped my perspective and taught me invaluable life lessons that continue to influence me to this day. However, this story has not ended here. Like and subscribe to this channel while I continue the part 2 of the story. Thank you.